And hello, welcome to Pieces That Pat Paints. I'm Pat, joined today by the lovely Kristen.
Where am I? There I am.
She's down there.
Hi.
She likes this really like short seat. I don't know. She's not actually she's not a halfling. I know that it looks like that I married a halfling, but that's not what happened. She's a full grown adult. When she stands up, she comes up to right here. Or maybe she is a halfling. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you came for the hilarity and and my absolute strangeness. I think that comes with being an artist. If you're kind of artsy, you're probably strange. I don't know a lot of really super artsy people that aren't a little strange. We're definitely missing a light, though. I can tell because my face is super dark. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so we're still working on Illuminor, Szeras. He's looking really great. I'm super happy with this guy right now. So he's looking pretty spiffy. We got to get in here. We got to get these girders and stuff done. Do these little metal bits, and we got to get this. I'm pretty sure he is part of an Inquisitor's retinue. He's not a Space Marine or anything, so Anyway, he looks like he's probably an Inquisitor piece. And there's a couple little other details down here on the base we got to knock out. Besides the concrete, there's a couple of these little scarabs that are running around here. There's one there and one there, and there's a skull here. And we're gonna pick all that stuff out before we put all the sand on it, as we're gonna coat this guy in some sand to make it look like he's in the desert, because he's got an Egyptian kind of motif with his kind of shapes of things and the glyphs he's got. So we're gonna give him that Egyptian sand, that nice white sand. We've got to also check and make sure we don't have any little details we want to, maybe redo because we maybe dropped some overpaint on, or maybe we forgot or missed them as we're going through. You always do a final check right before you finish it up, and just make sure you've got everything done. Anyway, thanks for coming by and watching us. If you're watching this now, which there's a few watching now, or if you're going to watch us later, we definitely appreciate all the views. This stuff really helps us out. Oh my. So I had my humidity tray was so humid that it made that wet underneath here. It's definitely started to be Oklahoma in the springtime. Oh, Fran, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Yeah, he's looking really sick. He's pretty awesome. My son is freaking out. He's like, "This is so cool." He's a little bit younger. He's not quite ready to play yet. He's got to get a little bit more understanding of some tactical stuff before he's be ready to play this game. This game's really kind of complicated, so it takes a little bit of work. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I really do. He's super cool. But
what I love about this model is it has so much going on. Whenever you first showed it with primer on it, there were so many things about it that you can't see that now that there's the contrast of the colors. It's just, yeah, you can see all of those little fine details that we're hiding.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. And once we get the rest of this base done, there's more details on this base that are really going to send this model into outer space, which is where he belongs, because he's an alien robot guy. Him to take you away. He's going to devour you with his strange bracelet of mutagen. I don't know what it is. Biotransference is the technical term, whatever that's supposed to mean. So it's a fun game, and it's a fun universe. I love the Warhammer universe. It's definitely not like a super kind place. I'm gonna put a little bit of water down here. I'm still trying to learn how to kind of use a regular towel instead of a paper towel, just because of the ideas of conservation. I'm trying not to use too much stuff, and using paper towels over and over again wasn't working. Oh yeah, that's gonna work out a lot better. We get a little damp spot, we can knock off most of the water, and then we can dry that tip up, and that's gonna give us a nice tip. So that can work. I'm experimenting with some different ideas. And this is like an old mechanic style cloth, so it's pretty porous, just like a paper towel would be. Maybe even more so than a paper towel, really. So it takes a little while to get it wet, and we're just kind of experimenting with that till we get it figured out. you know, trying to do our best to cut down, you know, stuff going into wherever. So, all right, where are we going? Oh, we need to get out some bronze. So we got to do up his, check our source material. So he's supposed to kind of look like this guy down here. All right, yeah, that is definitely like bronze or gold. We could do him in gold. It would look way, it would contrast against him better if we do that in gold. Maybe bronze here on the overlay just to make it pop out, or maybe just a little silver or something. We'll see. We might be able to just do that with a wash. Come here with the browner wash. All right, let's do the gold. I like that one. Do the gold. Wherever it went, if I can find it. If I can't find it fast enough, we're gonna go to the bronze. I found it. That's the way we should roll right there. What can we get to the quickest?
Decisions making themselves.
That's right. Probably don't need quite that much gold, but that's all right. Again, I like it where you can see it on the, I said that in one of the episodes, I don't remember which one. But I like that you can, I like being able for them to be able to see kind of what I'm working on with the colors.
All the little paint dots.
Yeah. Even with the blurs, it works out being blurry down there for it. Because it doesn't autofocus anymore. It's set.
Oh, very nice.
I have the focus where it's set, and it doesn't move. So the idea is to put it in the right place and paint it. I just gotta get better at getting it in the right place. That's the trick. Okay, so this is our 4/0. It looks like the little thing around his neck is more like a dark metal with a silver on probably what is his little Vox thing. He might be what's called an iterator, which are like propaganda agents. They would follow along with Inquisitors. I actually have some Inquisitor stuff. I have some Grey Knights too. When I was playing, I played Grey Knights more than anything else. My friend Eric had a bunch of different armies, and then Chris Raider had several different little parts to armies and stuff. And that is how we ended up playing this game. My sons found my dear departed friend's tanks, and they were like, "Oh, Dad, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh no." It's Warhammer. What's Warhammer? And you got to debate. You got to say, okay, am I gonna turn them onto this game, or am I gonna let them kind of live a different life? All right, so those seals, like he's got a little purity seal right here, and that seal is like a red wax. So we're gonna kind of go around that. We're not gonna, and it'll have that right there will be its little ribbons. He's got one on his back too. So you gotta kind of watch what you're doing. Pay attention where you're going. If we get a little bit over paint, that's okay. We're gonna clean that up later. But you know, try to limit the amount of that you got to do for yourself, just to make your life easier. And it takes practice. You'll get better at it. You just kind of keep working at it, and you know, the first time you say, okay, well, I'm this far, and the next time you go, I'm this far. A little bit of practice, you'd be right as rain. Get that up there. I am getting a whole lot better at painting right in the camera. At least I feel like I am. I've seen a couple different ways they've set these up. And another, with some kind of fun thing about getting this commission is we can take that money and we can use it to get a few more things done for the channel. And hello, Princess Tappy Toes.
No, you can't have any.
Any view of his back? Nope. No pictures of his back. So we're gonna have to make some decisions on that. I feel like this is probably still gonna be our gold color. But we may do like a different color on that inside. And there's that other purity seal I was talking about. It's part of the interesting part of the Empire of Man, the Imperium, if you will, is that they worship this emperor as if he were a god. And the emperors stood for enlightenment against religion. So what happened was, see what happened. There's a great heresy, and a man named Horus, who was one of the leaders of the empire and a son of the emperor, and that is a very brief explanation of Horus. He betrayed the emperor because of some shenanigans by entities that live in the warp that can manifest as if they were a god. And in their realm, they kind of are gods, but it's another realm. What is happening back there?
I don't know, but I feel like I should check.
Right? There's a massive sound coming from another room back there, and we don't know what it is. It's a very shaky sound. It was probably the dog scratching herself furiously. Is that what it was?
It sounded so weird because she was on Cullen's bed.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Oh my.
There's been so many earthquakes in Oklahoma. I was like, are we having an earthquake? It doesn't feel like we're having an earthquake.
The bed's right up against this wall right behind me. It's weird. Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm gonna start coughing if I laugh too hard. Oh, that's so good. That's the best part about live streaming is just the wild hilarity that can happen.
Well, when you have pets, there's no shortage.
Oh man. Well, I mean, depending on the pet.
Yes.
Okay. In here, it's starting to get a little hard to tell what is him kind of being sucked away and what is model space. You can kind of see right here. That's his shoulder pad. Vigorous scratches. Yes. It was definitely vigorous scratches. I mean, vigorous. She's a bully, so she's kind of big, and she's a big girl and super muscular. And it's springtime, so you know her poor allergies are acting up. She's itchy. Just scratching away. All right, come on. This gets a little bit difficult, but all you gotta do is just take your time and focus on the edge. Just try to get the edge of it. If you have to, come back a few times. Sometimes it's because your paintbrush is too dry. There's a lot of different reasons it cannot be sticking for you. So just be patient and work your way through the different ideas. Get that one down there. And then I want to do another color for the rest of that. So we're going to pull out some more metallics. I don't like that. I'm going to get a little bit more paint right there. Oh, we got that. That's going to look great. Okay. definitely want to use a little bit of this Iron Warriors. Now, again, this is a Citadel color, so this is the official stuff that they use on him. If you ever buy one of these models, they're going to have a list of all these colors here inside your model kit, and it'll tell you where you're using those and the layers and numbers at which they go. So you don't actually have to, if you're really trying to learn it, without a good sense of art background and stuff, this is a really great way to go. And you can just buy their stuff and you can do it their way, and it's going to come out exactly like this. But have you ever played the tabletop combat side of Warhammer? Yes, I have. I have another army that was my army. It's around here somewhere. It's what's left of it anyway. A lot of it got tossed during a different period of my life. But I played, when I was playing more, it was 3rd or 4th edition, and they just hit 10th, and that's when my sons got excited, and I was like, oh yeah, totally. And so we bought the Leviathan box set, and we play, my middle boy is a little bit more into it, and so he and I have played more games than the other boys. But where with the armies getting painted, they're excited and they're ready to kind of get into it. My oldest, if he'll get into it, he's going to get really good at it. He's a very strategic kind of player. My middle boy will have like a story about his army. He'll come up with he's a storyteller kind of person. And Alice, the ace, my middle guy, I try not to say their full names, but the internet's a weird place. But this is his army. He's not quite old enough to play yet, but by the time his army is ready, he's going to be old enough to start learning it. So he'll be able to start learning with his army. Probably later on this year. He's getting there. Like I said, we play a lot more Dungeons and Dragons, but this is a fun game too, and it makes you think a lot. There's a lot more to it than anything else. Do you play? Have you played? If so, what kind of army do you play? It goes to anybody who jumps on here. Totally let us know. I like to know what other people play, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer or whatever. Heck, I used to play a lot of Palladium. Played a game called Earth Dawn for a while. Lots of Vampire. We played lots of Vampire. It is a different kind of game. Vampire is different. It's fun though. You don't really need miniatures for Vampire though. It's not that kind of game. And my kids like the miniatures. It makes it feel like a board game to them. I think that's why Warhammer was such an easy jump over for them. They're like, oh yeah, no, we kind of understand it. Because even like my youngest son, he understands it a little bit. He gets the idea. He's not quite old enough to play the full game, so we're gonna wait and he's gonna kind of play with me for a little while against his brothers. Because once we start really playing, my oldest son, he'll get into it. He's too competitive not to. Get a little bit of white on him. We'll start getting this beard picked out. Be super slow. Take your time. It comes down around. Oh, that's wild. Okay. So his face is kind of getting torn away right here. Fran says, nah, I don't play Warhammer, but I might get into it someday. Like your middle son, I would probably add a story to anything I write. That's awesome, man. However, I do play D&D. Sweet, man. What do you like to write? What's your DMing a large campaign? Heck yeah. I'm a forever DM. I've always been the dungeon master, or the storyteller, or the game master, whatever the system wants you to call yourself. You know how that goes. Yeah, the middle boy, he loves writing. He's always coming up with stories, and he's got little stories he works on a computer, and totally encourage that because why not? Oh, that's so fun. Look at that. Look at that. His beard coming out. Yeah, it'll look great. Really slow. Take your time. Deep breaths, bold strokes. If we ever get to where we make merchandise, I'm putting that on a t-shirt. That's been my motto for like most of my painting time. I always try to take a deep breath and then go at it. When I was very first painting, I would get so nervous. I can't tell if he's bold or if that's... I'm going to make this look like hair. I think it is hair. But we're going to make it look like hair. Friend says fantasy. That's what he's writing. Soon I'm going to make a new definition of fantasy. Switch things up a little. Give Tolkien's influence a little break. By the way, I just realized you're painting a man. It's sick. Yeah, right? It's almost you don't even notice he's there till it starts coming out. And he's getting like whatever this machine is, like pulls away his flesh. So if I can get it to focus on his little fingers, I don't think it will yet. But those are like the bones in his fingers. Let's do them. We're going to do them. We're going to do them. This is cool. Unfortunately, my cat knocked him over, so bits of his finger bones are gone. But I think it might actually still look maybe even cooler because like parts of his fingers are gone. But they're like... You can see his little wrist is right here. That's his thumb. But because of the way the Necrons are, and this guy is obsessed with biotransference, so he's trying to figure out how... Alright, I gotta go. Hey man, thanks for stopping by. It's good to talk to you. One of these days I'll want to read your stuff, man. Send it. We gotta figure out a way for you to send it to me. Very carefully, very carefully. I'm gonna get that music on. I always forget that part.
Especially when I'm here.
Right? I'm getting better at remembering to turn the mic off, though. He says for sure.
Man,
Sweet man.
That's way more important, honestly.
Oh, God.
The feedback's not good.
It's not good. I'm like, oh, God. I did it again. Feedback is terrible. I really like this model though. It's wild. Such a crazy looking thing. I was so glad Alistair picked Necrons when I saw this model. I was like, oh man, we're gonna have fun doing that. I'm gonna put just a little touch of magenta up in the corner of this mouth. we're going to kind of keep working around on this guy today. We really want to get him done so we can move on to our next little deal, which will be all these rocks and stuff. My goal is to have this guy done by this week, because I really want to move us on to our next project, which is that commission. We're going to put just a little bit more of our pale rose just on the tops of his features. Be super careful with this. We really don't want to take away our wash work. We do want to bring out the highlights of his head where the sun is definitely shining on it. Goodness. He's got one eyebrow, and then the other side is being sucked away. So we'll have to make that work. Make it noticeable that that's what's happening. Shut that before it dries out. That's silly stuff. Okay. Get just a little bit of that permanent magenta in there on the raised areas where he's being peeled away. It's so wild looking. Maybe need a little bit more liquid in this. I'll wet that down just a little bit. I want a pretty. Because what I want to do now is he's kind of, this part of his flesh is gone. So we're trying to get in there and make it look like that's what's happening. So we need kind of like almost like a magenta wash to do that. And it should give us what we want. We can do that same wash in most of this area. Definitely looks like it's pulling him away now. It's a crazy look. I love it. We'll let that dry before we touch up any more of the rest of that. So back to bones, right?
What?
That,
oh, it looks like you need something.
no, I was just looking over. I thought I heard something.
Oh.
I thought it was a cat doing the sploot underneath the cardigan.
It was probably just me shifting.
Probably. Or the wind. You know, it's Oklahoma.
The
and
wind is blowing out there.
It's crazy.
I'm watching the trees like bend.
And he's got like a little Imperial Aquila down here. Pull that out. Gold that out. Looks like it's on a chain, so we're gonna put a little gold on that as well. Make sure we get into these bottoms. And some of that's probably gonna end up covered up with sand, but that's quite all right. Yeah, I'm kind of starting to like this. Using that, it's kind of... I like the idea of not having to continually use paper. And, you know, I'm already using a piece of paper here, but I did upgrade to a sponge on that, so I'm not using... Because in the old system, I was using...
Well, and that paper that you're using in there is still my scraps that I would be throwing away if you weren't using them, so...
No, it's not. These are the ones that came with the thing I bought.
Oh. Well, there's still scraps of paper being accumulated from whenever I have to cut parchment.
Right. And we have... I moved my other one over to the boys. They're using it now. The one I made.
Right.
And normally I don't use white on bones. Normally I make my bones a little bit more yellow and dirty. But since this is like he's being sucked away, I want it to be more white. I want it to look more, stand out more like that. You can hear metal swinging around out there on something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Come down here with some of this pale rose. Try to get his arm painted in. What's left of his arm, anyway. It's all being up into Szeras's little, I don't know, whatever you want to call that. Looks like he's got some sort of bracelet on. We'll give that a little color later on. This is pretty wild looking stuff. Okay. Do just a little bit more of our raw umber. I need to make this a lot wetter. Just in his eye socket here. Just to darken that up. Just need it to be a little darker. Joyce says he's turning out awesome. Thank you much. He's looking pretty slick. We're getting there. We're almost to basing. We'll have him done this week, which is going to be awesome. I'm super excited. But his little crystal lance looks super cool. All shimmery. All right. Drop a little bit of this brown on here again. Try and get some definition. And I need a little bit of it to be the magenta wash too. Because right here is being sucked away. Same with right here. I'm going to use that magenta to help pull that out. And then we'll come back, and on the very tips, put just a little bit of that pink. I'm going to do that here too. Just on the edges. We don't have to do them all. We just want to do a few at the very tips. Yeah. Alright, so something right here. We'll get a little bit more magenta. Right in there, especially where it's coming from his deal, or from his arm. I kind of want to leave the fingers alone. I might do like right here in between them, just to give them a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Not too much. It's just a little bit. Yeah, it's looking good. His arm as we come down, though, we're going to use more of that raw umber. That way we can kind of see our difference between where the flesh is being sucked off away into the vortex and where it's still on him. Do a little bit of a blend right here. That should make that look pretty spiffy. Yeah, that's looking really, really gnarly. Yikes. I definitely wouldn't want to be caught up with that guy.
Right.
Okay, now I gotta get back down here on this arm. A little bit more magenta here. And here. A little bit of our pale rose on the very tops of his skin. And then pull down. Alright, let's get some silver. A couple things I want to do in silver. And then we probably need to make like a brown wash. We gotta be careful, maybe it's gonna be more like a reddish brown. So I gotta think about that one for just a second. Which reddish brown I want to use. So a little bit of our silver. Shouldn't need too much. When we got it out, we'll do some, see if we got anything else we could touch up to. I think he's a little, maybe I was tripping, maybe it wasn't a ring there, or a, yeah, it's just a separation from where his hand is being gobbled up. But this, I definitely want to make more of a silver. Be very careful. There we go. And that's just going to help make it pop a little bit better for us down there. I might, there's a little raised pot on it. I might make it look like a button. Give it like a color. You know, like a red or something. That'd be fun. Or an orange. Alright. We'll get his cloak set up. That was a mistake. Get out of there. Again, we're not trying to cover up where our washwork is going. So you gotta be careful where you're going. Slowly kind of grab those edges that are up. When I'm doing this, I'm just more trying to clarify the highlights. And this part can get super tedious, but it looks better if you do it little bits at a time. Yeah. And then once you've got your first layer down, your second layer will really start sticking better. And you can control how many layers of what goes where, and and that's all in your paint control, in controlling how thick and thin your paint is. You know, it's not as much in brush selection as you might think. We've done all this with this number 4, and it's been pretty easy. Friggin' Fro, man! Oh my gosh, I was you may not know this, but Fro has another baby and a new wife. So, you know, awesome for Fro. Our friend Fro used to walk around like this a lot. Just stretch out his shoulders. He's like a really tall guy. He's got these long arms, and so he's constantly having to stretch out. So we used to say hi, Fro, and we used to put our arm up like that. It was like the... Dave says I still laugh till I cry sometimes. Yep. We used to have some good times. It was like the Fro salute. You had to salute. You had like a... He watches occasionally. He might not see this episode. If he does, what's up, Fro? We call him Fro not because he has a Fro, but because his last name was Fro, which is infinitely more hilarious. But yeah, I went to his wedding. Goodness sakes! Better drink something. I'm gonna start coughing now. Don't be blowing out everybody's ears. Oh, it's that wind. It starts blowing that pollen around, and everybody's throat gets dry. The whole state starts coughing at once.
That's true.
Yeah, if you've ever lived here, you definitely know that's true. The thing with the wind around here is like you're not just breathing like the pollen from what's made in your local area. You're breathing in pollen that got blown from either Texas or Kansas, or maybe from the west, New Mexico, Colorado. Mostly Texas for us, because of where we are. Joyce says these dang Bradford trees are murder. Man. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's... I remember when they were all the craze and like everybody was planting them, and now we're all like, oh God, why did we do this? Just thinking about it made me cough. Ah, golly, that's fun. Heck yeah, man. I'll trade OK pollen from Florida. Oh, ugh. There's about 40 on my block that says Joyce. Oh, yeah, it's brutal. Like, that's silly. And it is. We all planted them here. It was our own fault.
Not native.
They're not native. It's our own fault. We did it to ourselves. Did it to ourselves. We deserve this. Well, I mean, we don't. Goodness. I gotta get this lump out my throat and go vote. Not really. There's no elections today. It's a Wednesday. Dave will get the joke I just made. And a few other people probably will too. It's pretty clever. Again, we're just trying to get... And I want to keep my start of this stroke at the tops of this. I don't want... And then come down. It's going to help us kind of fade into the bottom. And let the light direction kind of do what it should do. Alright. Okay, we're gonna have to be real careful about this next part, because what I'm trying to do here is, so saith Snoop Dogg. Dave says everything is so yellow. Man, in Florida, I bet. Golly, I know. I've only been down there like a few times, and I know that it get like the spring in the South is nuts. It really doesn't matter what part of the South you're in, I don't think, as much as we'd like to pretend that it does. Alright. That should black that whole trout for us. Whew. I only got one little tiny dot on his booty. I did good. Let's clean that up real quick. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Looks a lot darker with that that weapon is missing from. Goodness. Okay, so here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna use burnt sienna on his shoulder pads. This is gonna make it kind of closer to what they did on theirs. And I still got to do that spot down there, which it looks like it's in gold as well. So let's just go ahead and get this little detail filled in. Citadel has like 1,000 different types of gold too. I have like one type of gold. No, I think I have two. I think I have one that's an enamel. Completely different kind of paint. I definitely don't want to use enamel on this. At least not at this juncture. And I'll take this bottom down. Oh yeah, he's definitely Inquisitor. That's an Inquisitor badge on his front. He's definitely part of the Inquisition retinue. Whether or not he's an actual Inquisitor or not, I do not know. But that skull, I want to actually get that gold off that skull because I want to put a little bit of white on it. We need to let it dry though. And that looks like more of his biotransference. Whatever that's supposed to be. Okay. So mark, let me just get a little mark on it. Put a little of our magenta. That's the same thing that is being... I really am trying not to say what naturally seems like to be what I should say, because he is definitely being suctioned from his being. His flesh and stuff is being suctioned offward. I've been trying hard this whole time to paint this guy. Not to say he's getting sucked off. But this guy's getting sucked off. Everybody get it together. And I'm talking to me. Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. Like I said in the little doobly-doos, guys, listen, my jokes are bad. Come by and tell your jokes, because your jokes are better. Mine are crude and lowbrow. But if you like crude and lowbrow, stick around, because we got plenty of that.
More to come.
Oh yeah, I got all the lowbrow humor you can ever ask for. And I'll bring it to you each weekday at 1 o'clock Central Time. Oh gosh. Gotta have fun in life. got to have fun in your life. Highly recommend it. It's too short not to enjoy it. Looks like he got some sort of little buckles on his boots. I don't know what color to paint them because I haven't see it. Just says, yeah, all I have is dad jokes. Yeah, you know, it could be worse. Again, you're just kind of working up these layers. And this kind of stuff really is more of a feel. It's like how much coloration do you want there? Alright, I think we're just about done doing touch-ups. I'll make this wash with this sienna and do it up. Alright. And this is a burnt sienna versus raw sienna. Raw sienna is a little bit more of like a leathery color in some ways. It's a lot less orangey. Anytime they take like something and they call it burnt something, it usually makes it more orange. Not always, but usually. So again, we're just gonna apply this just like any other, like our normal wash.
Which is interesting because, you know, typically burning things doesn't turn them orange.
Well, so okay, so what it is, if I remember right, it's they kiln it. They're putting it in an oven and they're baking it, or there is why they call it burnt, because they took whatever it is you used that
they baked it.
Yeah, and they cooked it, and that's why. If I remember right, I think that's what it is. It's been a long time since I've learned color. I learned color history. I think I was in like, I don't know, 7th grade or something.
Makes sense. Carameled sugar even has a little oranginess to it.
Right. Because you got to think like a lot of these colors are named this way because of the French. So like brûlé means burned, but it doesn't necessarily look burned.
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna look pretty great when it sets up. We'll have to let that dry a little bit. Oh, he's getting really snazzy. I'm really happy with how he's turning out. All right, let's knock out these purity seals real quick, and then I'm gonna let you go for the day, guys. It's looking super spiffy. I'm gonna get a little bit more flesh work on his domicile too. Do a little bit more work with his hair. Whoa, that went nuts. It just sounded like a truck pulled up. But it's not, it's the wind. Ooh, how am I going to get in there? Deep breath, broad, bold strokes. So let's get enough on there to simulate the color, catch the eye. It's behind his head. You know, only the people that are really looking at this model are going to notice we are. He's a good looking fella. Alright, I'm doing pretty good today. I think we need those crimsons that we love so well. If you haven't been around, I will introduce you to them. Assume I can find both of them. So there's our regular crimson. We're going to use that for sure. But I usually like to use Sorry crimson on my undercoats. There it is. Alright, find it. What's up, Pat? My friend, I'm friends with your son Cullen. Thought I'd check out the stream he told me about. Hey, sweet man. Well, welcome, Fizz. That's I appreciate you stopping by. Definitely give us the thumbs up and stuff like that. That helps. You probably know that more than most of my friends. We're old. So anyway, my son is very cool cat, and yeah, he's helping me out. So all right, here we go. So we're gonna add Alizarian Crimson to our palette. But yeah, welcome to the channel, my friend. If you got any questions, holler. I like to answer questions. It makes things so much easier when people ask things, because then you have something to talk about, and you're not just sitting here like rambling on. And then this is another of our Winsor Newton products. This is just a straight crimson, and you see it's very different, and it looks similar to the magenta and the permanent deep rose we use, but it's not. And you can actually see the difference right there on the camera. So it's just slightly different. But what we're going to do, we're going to take Alizarian Crimson. I'm going to knock out this Purity Seal 1 right here. I also am going to add that just an overcoat of this to our Inquisitor symbol here in the middle. Just enough to make it have color. We're not really worried about making it stand out too much or making it super red. People aren't really going to notice it when it's that far down. If you feel like you got a little too much, then you can always come back with your brush, a wet brush, and you can pull a little bit of that out of there before it dries. You'll be good. And we got another Purity Seal back here. So a little bit more of that same crimson. There we go. Alright, and then we'll come back later and we're going to pop that up. And then we were talking about making a red button on his back. I think red would be great. So I'm going to do that here too. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with that Alizarian Crimson. Boom. Leave that alone. Alright, now while we wait on the crimson that crimson to dry, we're going to come through and throw some white on these purity cells. And these typically have writing on them, and when this dries up real good, I'll see if we can't put a little writing on there. You don't really have to like actually write. You just need to make it look as if it has writing. So there's kind of a way you cheat that. These miniatures are sick. Oh snaps! What's up, Colin? How are you, bro? Yeah, I know your dad really well. He's a friend of mine. And yeah, he's a pretty sick painter himself, man. He definitely has some chaps. I've seen some of his work. But yeah, this one's for 40K, which is a little different. I think Matt does mostly D&D, and then he has his own like game you can play. It's really cool. He's a fun guy. Yeah, you've been out to pop fireworks at my restaurant when I was still a chef. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I knew you. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, he's a good guy. Cool, man. Well, definitely appreciate you stopping by. Tell your dad I said hey. And I guess you probably don't have a whole lot of questions you need to ask since you live in a house, you know what you're looking at. That's kind of the fun part about knowing some of this stuff. You can look at it and tell, oh, like, oh shoot, that's pretty good. I love looking at the stuff from like Golden Demon and the awards. Those guys are awesome. One of these days I'm hoping to get that good. So you notice I did another where I did 2 layers. I did one and then another, and I shortened the spaces on the second one. I didn't quite paint it as much, and that's going to help us give it that kind of, the edges are a little bit burnt up, or whatever. So yeah, I've been shown a lot of these things my whole life. Yeah, he's got a good collection. Alright, so those purity shells should be dried up for us now. So I'm going to grab our regular crimson. Deep breaths. We're just trying to grab the edges. And that little skull in the middle. And let the bottom of it, let the inside of it stay dark. We're going to hit the top of that little red button. I'll come right here and do this side too. So get very carefully around the edge, and if you need to, you can always switch to a smaller brush. If we're feeling like maybe we just drop down to this 0.5 real quick. So again, they'll mark it as a 5/0. Which is weird, but you get used to that if you buy brushes. The way they mark them. It seems odd at first, and then it makes sense later, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. And these are all round fine details, is what they call them. Alright, so a little bit more raw umber, because that got a little bit too bright right there. So we take that down just a touch. Okay. And a little bit more flesh work right here. I'm going to very carefully try to pick out a little bit of his body that's inside too, just to help the detail stand out a little bit. Yeah. Alright, and then I need just a touch of white on this skull down here, because I know what that is. Very careful, very careful. Boom. And he's got his little skull down there. Alright, so that's looking good. Okay, troops. I'm going to black his boot at the bottom of his boots here. That way we can see a separation between the sole and the boot itself. Those little details help kind of make things stand out for you. And since his boots are such dark brown, that black is gonna help give us that separation. I ain't got no sound. Well, I'm at school, bruh. Oh. Well, turn on the closed captions. I think the closed captions, doesn't it auto closed caption? Actually, I don't know.
I have no idea. I usually have the opposite problem. I'm at work and I can only listen and not watch.
That's okay. I don't know sign language either. All I know is like this one. That's all I know. But thanks, Con. Appreciate you. Give us the like. Give us a like. Thumbs up down in the description thingy down there. Oh, that's fun. Okay. All right. So, got a couple little. What else we got going on? There's looks like we've got. I don't know what those are. Vestments or something. We'll pick those out real quick. A little white on them is going to pull them out, and then we'll take a look at them and we'll see what we want to do. They look like little ribbons with tiny skulls on the end because, you know, the Warhammer and skulls. It's cool as hell. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, he's pretty sick. Yeah. Alright, so those look like they're just little vestments. I really like the idea of making those red, because we're going to do sand underneath. We'll leave those skulls as is. Okay. Warhammer is cooler than D&D in my opinion. Yeah, it's I don't know about I don't know cooler or not cooler. It's different. You're gonna have your different kinds of games that make more sense at different parts in your life. Like, okay, so like, yeah, Warhammer, it's hard to play with like a bunch of people at once, but D&D you can get like 5-6 people to play at the same time. Plague says far. Yeah, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. But like, yeah, you can. Warhammer is really cool. I like it. It's a fun game. But again, there's sometimes one thing is better at a time than the other. If it's just you and a homie and it's a rainy day, man, yeah, Warhammer's legit, because like you can crush each other's armies and yeah. And I think the lore behind 40K blows away Dungeons and Dragons. The lore for 40K, there's very few things that have that kind of depth of lore. It's pretty intense. You have to go to like Dune or Star Wars, or there's a few other ones that have some serious deep lore out there. There's some dark deep holes. And if you're looking for lore for Warhammer, check out Luton. He's pretty awesome. If you want the super in-depth stuff, if you want kind of a plucky young guy that has a good time, check out Wes Hammer. And if you want kind of a beefy jock guy, go check out Major Kill. And then my favorite one to listen to, just because his voice is so awesome, is a guy named Baldermort. He's awesome. His voice sounds like what you would expect the Imperium to do. Do you stream on Twitch too? I do not. I don't really know anything about Twitch. Should I be streaming on Twitch? Well, you let me know. Sounds like maybe I should. I definitely will take a look at it. Okay, so I'm gonna do these girders and all these little rods. So we're gonna get out our Iron Warriors again. Yeah, I would definitely take if I need to move to switch, if I need to start doing a switch. I think you can do them at the same time. I'm not the most technological guy, so I'm still learning. All right, so we got a scarab here. This says Twitch is way better for streaming than YouTube for small streamers at least. YouTube doesn't really put small streamers on the front page. That's a good point. Thanks, I appreciate that. Good looking out, homie. See, that's why you want to talk to the young folk, because they know. I definitely should do that. I'll talk to my tech guys. One of them, he sent you here. But yeah. That's I definitely should look into that, especially because you grow one audience in one place, you can grow it in another. Because I have a TikTok that I use to show the finished models on, and I get a few people come over from TikTok to watch here, and that definitely works out. This pillar's got authentic battle damage. Yeah. I will definitely look into this Twitch. That's not a bad. That's a good idea. Thanks, my friend. Goodness. Okay, I'm gonna really take a look at what we got going on here. That's a crossbeam for sure. When in doubt, zoom out, man.
That's good advice.
Right? I do that a lot. I'll get stuck like way deep into something, a detail, and then I'm not paying as much attention to what I need to be, and I'll make a mistake, and I'll come back and be like, ah! So sometimes you gotta zoom out and look at the broader picture of the image. See what's up. Fizz, I gotta head out. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Hey, appreciate you, my friend. Have a great day. I still got a few people hanging out too. So appreciate it. Everybody stopping by. That's really awesome. That'll make your day. That's fun. My son sent folks my way. I appreciate it, son. I'll have to tell him when I see him next. That means we must be finally hitting critical mass. My son doesn't support things that are not proven winners. He learned that pretty early on. I don't imagine who he learned it from. Okay, these little scarabs, we're gonna not get those done up. And I'll probably come back one more round with that green. I'm gonna make those things burn up, that pop out with that green color. I'm gonna knock out a couple little more things while we're here today, and then I'm gonna let y'all go about your day. I definitely didn't want to shut down while we had a bunch of people watching, because that seems like a bad move. But, you know, we're dropped down to just a few viewers, so knock out a few more things, and then we're going to get going. I am actually going to go see Dune here tonight. Super excited about that. If you know me personally, you know that I am an absolute Dune fanatic. I have been since I was in high school. I've always been all about Dune. So, even when my friends made fun of it. Back when it was when the movie was that terrible old 80s movie. It's so bad. I like it for the nostalgia, though. I still like that Dune. Another tight corner. Be patient. Find the right angle. Get it knocked out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There we go. Like having all that done. It makes our life easier for tomorrow. Okay, well, take a little quick look, cruise around, and we're going to say goodnight for say good afternoon for today's broadcast. All right, so we got the guy that's being pulled away. I got to head out. Enjoyed the stream. You seem like a really genuine guy. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Plague. That's awesome. Yeah, I try to be just real, you know, be myself. So, like I said, he's looking good on the inside. We're looking really great. Looking super snazzy. And we're gonna finish him up tomorrow. Should be able to knock these guys out in the next stream, and then we'll base him and pick out any last details on Friday, and we're gonna have this guy done, and we're gonna be able to move on to our Radagon, which is gonna be super awesome. I'm excited to do him. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great time. I had a great time. I usually do. Thanks for everybody who came by. We had a bunch of folks today. It was pretty awesome. Fran and Joyce and David, Fizz, Con, Plague. You guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate you coming by. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Bye. Roll that stuff, Steve.